So at this time, I'd really like to introduce our speaker, Rachel Slitman. Rachel is the Leadership Development Consultant in Corporate Learning at Country Financial. She's also a certified learning coach who works with various levels of management on a variety of leadership topics. She serves as a partner in coordinating the Leadership Development Program at Country, as well as the Talent Assessment Team, and we're thrilled to have her here tonight. Can you now please at this time help me welcome our guest speaker, Rachel Slitman.
Hello and welcome, Redbirds. Everyone excited to be here tonight?
Yeah.
Everyone excited to be here tonight? Yeah. Okay, Lauren talked about interaction, energy. That's exactly what we're going to be going after. I am super excited to be here tonight for a number of reasons, two of which I'd like to talk about. One, being an ISU alumni, it is just super exciting to be back with Redbirds here. I am very happy that all of you are investing in yourself and coming out here and taking advantage of a program like this. So super excited to be surrounded with people like you. The other is that I am excited to be able to give back to an organization or an area of this university that gave so much to me while I was in your shoes. My 4 years of undergrad here at ISU, I actually was a student worker at the Career Service Center who's putting on this event for you tonight. And I will tell you that while I was there, there was I can't think of a group of professionals who was more caring and supportive of all of me at that time, but all of the students at ISU in terms of your professional and your personal development. So it is a honor to be able to give back just a little bit to an area that gave so much to me, and hopefully you guys will continue to come to events like this and get more out of it as well. So I want to build on, I share a little bit about that because I want to build on a turning point for me in my journey. And it was the job in the Career Service Center. It was one of the first times that I realized how important networking was. From the time that I walked into that job my freshman year, I quickly realized that every student I talked with, every student I was on the phone with, that left an impression, and I need to figure out what that was. Not only was it the students, but we also were offered the opportunity to experience setting up the career fairs and working with recruiters from organizations across the nation. And to think about every time that I was helping them wheel in their setup into the Career Service Center, or into the career fairs, or get on a call and help them set up their recruiting schedules, whatever that was, I was making an impression every single time. And I needed to know what that was for me. And that's something I want to work with you guys tonight, and hopefully you think about as you leave here. Every time I have an interaction with someone, I'm making an impression on them. And what is that impression that I'm leaving with them? And a lot of times we think about that as we move through and we get, we finish it, no, I wish I would have done that. But if you think about it ahead of time and plan for what is it that I want people to know about me and what impression do I want to make on them, then hopefully you'll be able to build yourself to that. So with that, she gave you a history of learning that I've been in, and that means that we like to do participation and interaction. So in front of you, you have a handout. And one side says the top 10 tips for successful networking. I want you to turn that face down because we're not going to, that's a takeaway for you. The other side is something we're going to work through in the next 20-ish minutes here. So I'm going to ask you, that top left-hand corner, the word networking just seems so mysterious. It's just full of anxiety for us. I want to start with asking you, what does that mean to you? So at your table group, I'm going to get you talking. I want you guys to come up, just put some different words in that top left-hand box. What does networking mean when you think about that? 2 minutes I'm going to give you, as much as you can think of. Ready? Go. 1 minute left. Ten seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, I'm gonna ask, looks like we have some table numbers here, right? Okay, I'm gonna ask, I'm gonna call it a table number, and I want somebody from the table just to throw out 1 or 2 things. Speak loud enough so everyone can hear, but that you came up with for that box, okay? I'm gonna start with table number 3.
Connections.
Okay.
Communication.
Connections, communication, I heard. Okay, table number 6.
Stepping stone.
Stepping stone.
Showcasing who you are.
Okay, excellent. I can't see the number back there. What are you guys? Number 1, okay. Give us 1 or 2 things.
Building meaningful relationships.
Okay, excellent. Table number 5.
Long-term professional friendships.
Long-term professional friendships. Okay. Table number 2.
Putting yourself out there and professional resources.
Excellent. 7.
Meeting new people, opportunities.
Okay. And last but not least, number 4.
Branching out and supporting.
Okay, excellent. Here are the themes across here. I hear a lot of relationship building, supporting, resources. Where can I go? I liked the putting yourself out there, stepping stones, some of that. I didn't hear too much about uncomfortable. Do we have anything like that? Anxiety? Or were we looking at all the positives here? Excellent. I like that. Okay. So that doesn't necessarily lend itself to the next point that I was going to make super well, but I'm going to go there anyway then. Because one of the things is we talk about all these in the positive sense, but then we sit back and go, this is so hard. Why is it so hard? We talk about networking and we freak out. I can talk with people. Why is it so hard for me? So I'm going to give you, I'm going to shorten the time because you guys were super quick there. I'm only going to give you a minute on this one. I want you to go to the top right-hand corner, and this one I want you to fill in as well. Why is networking so hard? Ready, go. 1 minute. 30 seconds. Ten. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we're going to go in number order this time. Actually, I'm just going to pick a few of you. Table 1.
It's forced.
It's forced. Okay. 3. I'm skipping around. Sorry, I said number order.
Being shy.
Being shy. Table 5.
Finding out what actually matters about you that you should say to somebody.
Ah. Table 7.
Getting out of your comfort zone.
Okay. I'm sorry.
And being awkward.
Being awkward. Socially awkward or yes, okay. All of those are very real things. I'm sure you had a long laundry list in that bucket there and thinking about why it's so hard. And I want to help you think of this very simply, okay? In the bottom right-hand corner of your handout that you have here on the top of the line, I am going to focus on these top 3 points for the majority of the rest of our talk here. Everything I know about networking, I learned when I was 4 years old. All of you did. I want you to think, I want you to visualize and think about the last time you saw a number of 3 or 4-year-old toddlers. Was it at the park, the mall play area, wherever it was, because it's cold and I know we're not out at the park so much right now. But think about the last time you saw a group of 3 and 4-year-olds together and what they do when they go into a group. There's 3 little things that we have down here when you think about this. They smile. When they go into an area, they connect with somebody, they see somebody, they smile. Then they notice little things and give a genuine compliment. And the other thing is they're curious. They listen more than they talk. Literally think about that park when you think about little kids and what they're doing. And I'm going to get you to go back to how can I make it that simple for myself. Okay, so let's talk about that first one. Let's talk about smiling. It is really hard to feel intimidated when someone is smiling at you. When we talk about awkward, I'm going to make us feel awkward right now, okay? I want everybody to smile, and I want you to look directly at somebody at your table. Better be smiling. Smile. Okay. Listen to the room. Listen what just happened when you did that, right? It's really easy to be able to, it's warm, it's approachable, it's welcoming, it gets you talking about something. So think about that. That is super simple, right? But look how easy you broke into that. So think about that when you meet someone. Have you ever walked down a hallway and in the day and age of social media where we're at, earphones in our, headphones in our ears, phones here, you're walking, you don't look up. Look up and smile at people. It's easy to make that connection. And it physically, I'm sure everyone's heard this, right? It is physically easier to smile. I did some research looking at numbers and I came kind of an average of 26 muscles to smile. Anybody know? 62 to frown. It's really just easier on yourself if you smile. Another element of this particular rule in terms of networking is thinking about your nonverbals. So smiling is one, okay? Think about all the other nonverbals that are opening when you're talking about networking with people. I know sometimes we're just cold, so you have to be aware of how you read nonverbals. But arms crossed, or just your stance, or your eyes, where you're looking, think about all those things. How do you stay open to somebody when you are working through that? And not only yourself, but how do you read nonverbals? You should take some time to see if you are good at reading nonverbals. Work with somebody on that and see, they're going through a situation or whatever's going on. See if you can read nonverbals well. Be aware of that for yourself, okay? That's a really important piece there. Here's another thing about some nonverbals and kind of entering into the situation when we're talking about smiling, etc. How about a firm handshake? Sounds super simple, doesn't it? Oh, I can do a handshake. I will tell you when we go back to the first impressions, I struggle big time when someone comes up to give me a handshake and their hand feels like a wet noodle. I want to just grab that hand and shake it all over again. So I am going to actually, we're back to interaction here, okay? Hopefully the flu germs are all gone away. I am going to ask you guys to literally turn to someone. Seems silly, I know. But if you've never done a really good handshake, I want you to do this. Turn to someone. You actually have to meet. Grip tight, shake the hand, and where should your eyes be? Up on their eyes. Turn to someone and do that. Shake their hand. Good handshake. Okay, once again, look what just happened in the room. You start having that communication, the energy level rises. Think about actually doing those good things, all right? So let's transition. I'm going to grab something real quick. So you're meeting someone for the first time. You're coming in and out. You have these tables. You're doing these different things. Food, drinks, okay? How do you do this type of thing? You need to think about, you should always be able to shake a hand. So we're not talking about this, my friends, is not a dinner plate. So we're not talking about loading these things up so we can't balance these types of things. How can we either get it all in one hand to be able to keep your shaking hand free, or you are by something that if one is too full or something, you can set it down, okay, in terms of being able to do that. So think about that as you work through that. These are all just small little tidbits, but I will tell you that they add up. They make an impression as you work through those things, okay? Let's get into that second one about noticing little things and giving a genuine compliment. You think about 3 and 4-year-olds as they go onto the playground and they work through that, and they see somebody, they go to something that they like, or somebody has common things with them, right? Oh, I have a Mickey Mouse shirt too. Oh, you look about my age, I like your hair, I like whatever's going on with that. How can you do that when you enter into a conversation for yourself? That's a rhetorical question, I just want you to think about that. But when you break in, that's some of the first things to be able to say. Notice something about them and make a comment about that. Great shirt, that looks really well on you. I actually was in the elevator with 2 young ladies. I'm trying to see if I can visualize who they are here. Everyone had coats and hats on coming up. We walked in the elevator together coming up, and I said to them, how's the weather for you? Are you from here? They said, oh, it's cold. Are you from here? Just to get to go a little bit further and have that conversation. I don't know who was. Raise your hand. Okay. They're going, yes, it was us. But just the difference, we could all stood in the elevator and not said a thing. But how do you just make that little connection with what's going on in terms of that, okay? That gets to a perfect transition to the elevator speech. I'm getting my time back here. But in the middle of your paper here, it says elevator speech, 30-second commercial. I want you to think about this. If somebody, I think it might have been right here at this table, this young lady talked about knowing what is purpose, right? What should I be telling people? What makes a difference? And that's a really important piece. So I am going to let's see here. I'm going to give you a quick minute. This is an individual activity to start with. And I want you to take this home and perfect it. But I'm going to give you a minute, and I want you in that middle box of this sheet to write down, if you had 30 seconds, if you got in an elevator and you were riding to the top floor and you were talking with somebody that was going to get your next job, whatever that was, what would you want them to know about you? Okay? I'm going to give you a minute to write in that box. This is just about you, what you think you would want them to know. Ready? Go. $20 seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, stop. Okay, I don't know if you have an even number at your table. If you don't, you can, we'll jump in here. I want you to turn to someone, and I am actually going to give you 30 seconds. I want you to decide who's going to do it. I want you just to try to do what you would say in that elevator right now, okay? I only gave you a minute. I want you to try and see what would I actually say. So turn to someone next to you. Is there anybody who has an odd number at their table? Raise your hand if you have an odd number. Okay, we have a couple, so you guys pair up, do somebody from a different table just to do this? Everybody got a partner? Okay, ready? Pick who's gonna go first. 30 seconds. Somebody, ready? Go. Ready? Switch. Go. Other person. Everybody get everything in? Yes? No? Heads are shaking no, and I have really weird looks looking at me like, are you crazy, woman? There's no way I got that all in. The reason I wanted to put you through that is to show you how hard that is, right? You probably had a lot of things you didn't get to, or maybe things after you heard the other person say, you're like, oh yeah, I should include that. Oh, that made a lot of sense. You do need to take time to practice this and finesse this, because if somebody does a really good job with this, it makes a really good, what? Impression. Got a word there, huh? Really good impression. So think about, go back, perfect that for yourself. Okay, that last point of kind of being curious, listen more than you talk, really is pretty simple, just down to that element. Think about, as you go into a situation, come with a group of canned questions for yourself. It's okay. If you struggle to ask questions, plan out 4 or 5 questions. But you know what? Then also have answers to those, because then you can have a discussion. But don't monopolize the discussion. I'm sure everybody has been to or knows somebody who comes and they ask you a question, and you know before you even get done answering that they asked that question so they can talk about themselves. Okay? And that's okay to get the thing going, but how do you go back and forth? So think about that. I always ask people, I want you to sit back and think about the amount of times during a certain meeting, or when I'm working with leaders, I say as you're working with employees, I want you to think about how much of the time do you ask questions and how much of the time do you give directives? Thinking about those percentages. So think about that and being curious. Okay, our last thing we're going to do before I get pushed off, no, just kidding, I'm taking too much time, is talking about topics to avoid. There are definitely things we should not be talking about when we're just trying to do some simple networking. So to save on some time here, I'm going to ask you guys just to throw these out. You have a category down in the bottom left hand where we can jot these down so you have some takeaways. But thoughts about topics we should avoid when networking.
Politics.
Politics. Ding, ding, ding. All right, what else? Religion. What else?
Partying.
Partying. Okay, sounds like a good one. Yeah. Regrets. Could be, yeah. What else? Good one. I'm sorry, the bathroom. Okay. Sometimes you might need to use that to break away. There are times you have to break out of conversations. What else? One last thought about topics to avoid. Personal relationships, right? Yeah, ones I have you guys hit a lot. Politics, cost of living, cost of things that you're paying, money you're making, religion, hurtful gossip, personal things, health or health issues. So thinking about all of those types of things. And why do we want to avoid those topics? Okay, absolutely. She said they're conflicting. You end up when you're networking, you're not there to get into heated debates. You're here to have a positive experience. So think about when I'm asking those questions, what it is that I'm looking for there. Okay? As we wrap this up, I want you guys to think too about purposeful networking, not only for yourself on what do I want to get out of this, what's my 30-second speech, but who does it make the most sense for me to network with? I was reading a blog and the woman was talking about how ineffective the pile of business cards was on her desk because they were all sitting there, but she didn't even really know on some of them why she would call that person back or what she would do with them. Your time is precious, I know. So is everybody else's as you guys work all through that. So think about what do I want to do? What am I trying to get from this networking? Who are the right people to be networking with? Of course, meeting new people is great, but if I have a limited amount of time, who are the people that I really need to be making sure that I'm networking with, and what is that reason for? Okay? We talked a lot here tonight, actually all tonight, about in-person networking, hence what you're doing here. I want all of you too to think about, in this day and age, we obviously cannot forget social media and networking in terms of LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter and etc. Think about all of the things you're doing with that and how are you building your presence. And I want to show you down on the bottom of this handout under the 3 things to know about a 4-year-old that the Career Center is offering another opportunity, which is an upcoming event on March 31st around LinkedIn. And it's all about how to build your profile or build yourself up on LinkedIn, and how can you go about using that to network and get a job and work through things like that. So once again, another great opportunity to think about how do I network as much as I can. it was quick, but I want to thank you for your time here tonight. I really enjoyed that. As I started off by telling all of you that I give a big kudos to all of you, big pat on the back there. I know are a whole lot more than 100-ish students at ISU. And for you guys to be coming out and thinking about bettering yourself by doing this is a huge step in the right direction. So kudos to all of you for doing that. But thank you very much. I've enjoyed my time, and I want you guys to know if there's one thing you take away from this, smile. Thank you very much.